Poor result for Borough against Wigan, which hasn't done anything to help their chances of staying in the Premier League. Perhaps, in thinking about it, we might have accepted that a goalless draw was the likely outcome. If you look at Wigan's recent record, since losing Heskey and Palacios, they've forced a few goalless draws, but not really created anything at the other end. So maybe they're always going to come here and be tight, solid, organised, and make it hard for us. And let's face it, Borough have a history of failing to break down sides at the Riverside that come determined to get a point. They always seem to go away with one, and this is exactly what happened. They did make Borough look a poorer side than they have of late, and it was another really disappointing afternoon for the fans. I felt so sorry for the fans. It was like watching paint dry in the second half. But Borough didn't lose the game, which I presume they never were going to lose it, but it's something at least for the players to cling to. What we have to remember is that virtually every side that Borough play in the remainder of the season are not going to be as defensive minded as Wigan. We do look a better side when teams let us play. It doesn't mean we're going to beat them, but at least they give us the opportunity to knock the ball around, which is our game, and hopefully create something. Created virtually nothing against Wigan as it happened, and of course we saw Afonso Alves up front virtually as a mere passenger. He isn't equipped, he doesn't like the physical games, and as a result he makes no impact whatsoever in them. Still probably had to play him in case he got a knockdown, something went in off his backside or something similar, but it didn't happen, and really up front we just weren't in the game. I thought it was quite laughable, a letter that was passed around on the afternoon. Quite rightly, the fans in the southeast corner were upset about the fact they'd been told to sit down and stop making a noise. The last paragraph was the one really that got up people's noses, and quite rightly. I know that the club are making a point, and I understand what they're saying, but there are times to do this and ways to do it, and to come out and be so blunt, and really it was an attack on the fans at a time when it's the last thing that's needed. Borough have a habit of doing this at times, shoot themselves in the foot. It only annoys and alienates fans, and in the long run it can cause long-term problems. It's a pity it happened. The club have come out and apologised as well they might. I hope we can move on from here, and I hope the fans in the southeast corner can get on with things and provide the noise and the backing that the team needs. If one or two people have complained, then I'm disappointed about that. The whole point of going to a football match is to be part of an atmosphere. The fans in the southeast corner help to produce that atmosphere. I mean, there is talk that there have been discussions with at least one club official over the possibility of having drummers in there. So certainly that would imply to me that noise isn't going to be a problem in that area. I think the quicker this thing's buried under the carpet as quickly as possible, and the fans all over the ground are encouraged and stimulated to be noisy, then the quicker the better. The main thing now is really to see the team get back on track as quickly as possible. I think the players did take a little bit of a battering at the end of the Wigan match. They were very disappointed they didn't do better. They did try in the game, and I mean, you've got to give them credit for that. They weren't good enough. Now they have to move on, and I think we're going to see a completely different game against West Ham. It's going to be an open game because that's the way West Ham played. We had a great game down there at Upton Park. I seem to remember giving it 4 stars out of 5 in the Evening Gazette, and there's not many games attracted that many of stars in recently. So if we get a repeat of that, then I think the fans will go home happy, having seen a good game at last, and I hope there's a decent crowd there to see the game, because certainly there should be plenty of football on offer. Can Borough win it? Well, can they score a goal? They certainly got one at West Ham. Stuart Downing opened his account for the season. It would be great to see him score again. As far as I'm concerned, they may get the odd goal from elsewhere, but there's only 3 people really capable of scoring goals this season. That's Alves. Will he ever score again? Marlon King, who obviously can't play against West Ham, and Downing. Therefore, I would hope that Alves and Downing are given the main roles again. what they do need is support from the rest of the team, particularly the midfield. The output of goals from the midfield this season's been desperately poor. The output from the back four's been bad as well. It should have been better, capable of doing better at set pieces. It doesn't matter where they come from, of course. They've got to be put away. We do create chances in these type of games, and that is something that really gives us something to hang on to. But putting those chances away has been a major problem. Alves is capable of doing it. He doesn't like the physical side, as we say, but maybe he'll have a little bit of space, a little bit of time this time, and who knows, he may get things going. Wouldn't it be wonderful if Borough could beat West Ham and then set themselves up nicely for what should be a cracking game against Liverpool on Saturday, because they're another side who'll let you play. They'll let you play because they believe they can beat you, and certainly they'll come here as strong favourites. But if Borough have got a win against West Ham under their belts, then it can make a big difference, certainly in the dressing room. A lot of good characters in the dressing room. The Borough lads are good lads. They want to win. They're as frustrated as anybody else by the fact that things haven't gone well up front. They will try to put it right against West Ham. Let's hope they do. A cup win, get everybody smiling again. They're quite capable of doing it, but they've got to perform on the night. They've got to outfight West Ham, outbattle them, outplay them, in fact. Let's keep our fingers crossed.